Namaste, crypto aficionados and my fellow capitalists. Digital Capitalist is back with a great interview with MetaSin, who's one of the team members of Radiant DeFi. Welcome, MetaSin.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Right. So, I've heard a lot about your project. Your Discord has grown quite a bit. There's already 4,000 members. And, tell us about your project and how you guys got started and your vision about this project. What are you looking at it becoming?
Yeah, so I guess the best way to describe our team is, we're kind of veterans to crypto. We've been developing some different projects now, and this is definitely the one we're the most excited about. I would describe us as problem solvers. So we take some of the more popular protocols and we try to provide our own spin to them and make them more sustainable, make them more palatable. With this protocol, that's definitely something we think we did is, we took a strong nodes in Atlas Cloud and we removed some of the negatives and we added a lot more positives. So, really we're taking approaches and kind of combining approaches from, say, a Tomb fork, and we're combining some approaches from Universe fork and Thor financial and all of those. We're kind of taking bits and pieces from all of it and combining it into what we feel like is a protocol that can be very long-term sustainable, yet at the same time can be very lucrative and highly I guess engaging for users and gives them lots of different options on how they'd like to participate.
Right. Excellent. So, so you are basically a passive yield generating NFT protocol, right? And that you have a bit of, that means you can earn yield via your NFTs as well, and also providing liquidity. Maybe you want to explain a bit of that. How can a guy that invests in your project make money, basically?
Yeah, so it's not as straightforward to say because there's actually a couple of different routes, and this is where it gets really fun and interesting. Okay. So we'll kind of go past what our token generation event will be, which is initial staking offering. We'll skip that for now. But at the end of kind of the initial staking offering event, you're going to have two tokens. All right, Raise is our primary token, and then you have X-Rays, which is our supportive utility token. So users can just have kind of a similar approach to strong nodes by just getting involved in Raise tokens. You can purchase our solar collection using Raise tokens. We have a base NFT tier collection that are called nebulas. Those nebulas, when you purchase them, you'll purchase them with 10,000 Raise tokens, and that will earn you 0.5% APR per day. So really, really good long-term sustainable yield. That's not too high, very realistic. And then what we'll do at that point is we'll actually have those be upgradable. So you're going to be able to convert 10 of those. Those will be burned, but you'll create one that will make it so it'll be equal to about 1% APR yield. So we're giving extra incentives for people to continue to boost their yields. So if you just got in the Raise protocol and you wanted to have that standard experience, you can. These aren't nodes, so they don't live on the blockchain, so there's no server fee. So strong nodes had a monthly maintenance fee, which is kind of one of the downsides. So these are just NFTs that kind of function the same way. So that's one of the valuable things with this. Other people have done these type of protocols and they try to add large fees on claiming your rewards. They try to add large fees on selling the rewards or buy taxes, sell taxes. Those are all attempts to try to reduce sell pressure on their chart, which is reasonable. But the problem is too, you take a large tax and you're selling portions of these, and you're also selling part of your NFT proceeds. It can equal a lot of downward pressure on your chart in a kind of a negative way that's hard to overcome. So this is where we get into our secondary token, X-Rays. X-Rays can only be purchased using the LP tokens for Raise. So effectively using our primary tokens, LP tokens, you can purchase another X-Ray token, which those are used for Supernova collection. So we have two different NFTs in that. The base collection there is what's called a supernova, quite pretty aptly described. The supernovas, they'll earn you 1.5% daily APR. They'll earn that in X-rays, but then you can upgrade that to the highest raise generating. So you upgrade 10 of those and you can build an NFT that's called a pulsar that pays out a ton of rewards. So it pays out 2%, what would be equivalent to 2% a day in raise tokens. So the actual primary token. So that's where the most yield generation comes.
Okay.
Now, let me describe to you just briefly why we did this. I was kind of saying before, and token projects like strong nodes, what they do is they take 10 of their strong token. You would take 10 strong tokens and they purchase a node with it.
Yeah.
The strong team would then sell 3 of those or 4 of those. Part of that would go to building an external treasury with the idea that that's going to help prop up the price in the long term. And then they're going to maybe sell a portion of it to liquidity pair to kind of boost the LP. And then there's going to be taking some for themselves. So from an operations perspective.
Right.
But like I said before, that provides constant down pressure. So that works fine when the token price is pumping and you're getting a lot of buys. But when you're not really getting a lot of buys and that slows down, having to sell those tokens really can hurt. To build a treasury, you have to do it. But it can really hurt your token price even more and make it less sustainable because you're selling your own project essentially. So what X-Rays does for us is that token price is meant to stay relatively stable to provide more of an easier access point so that people always want to provide liquidity to earn higher yields. That still requires people buy raise to create LP tokens so we don't decrease our buy pressure. But we're significantly reducing the sell pressure by giving people rewards and X-rays. But even then, we're also, it allows us to build that external treasury without ever affecting raise price. Okay. So it's just better treasury management is what it is. And it also allows us to bond the LP and have protocol owned liquidity. So you don't end up with a token that has 35 million market cap with one, 500K market or 500K liquidity. So we needed a way to make sure that the liquidity continues to grow as the market cap grows. So we aligned incentives essentially for people to be able to provide that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I think liquidity is the key here that every project aims to have a lot of, because a lot of projects die because lack of liquidity. Like some of them 100,000 liquidity and all that. What can you do with that, right? It's so little.
Yeah.
And so strong, they started with strong, right? And then now they have another token, something like I think stronger. Right. Yeah. So is that something what X-ray is like, that aims to be?
No, honest to God, we feel like we're better. So those protocols don't have any flexibility, and that's why they had to migrate to a new token. Just to kind of share the full vision here, say our liquidity is really high, we can actually take more from liquidity and push it more into the treasury, which ultimately goes to sustaining your price more, right? So that can be used for buybacks. If our token price is low, then we can do buybacks, we can increase the price. So we can make that stay relatively stable. We kind of really like what Horde is doing now. If you've not heard of them, it's a free shout out for them, but they're doing some really cool things. They're kind of price regulating their token, which I think is awesome. But what our multiple NFT advantage and being able to essentially purchase nodes or NFTs, sorry, they're not nodes, being able to purchase these NFTs with LP tokens gives us a distinct advantage over them. And also having 2 tokens that allows us to do much more from an external perspective. Right. So they already lasted a really long time and did really well, but they didn't ever have any kind of external like treasury building system. And to just generally share the flexibility of it is we could always, if we needed to decrease sell pressure of people selling raise, we could incentivize people to take their raise and build a new NFT collection. And that could essentially, would yield X-rays, or maybe it would yield Fantom rewards from our treasury, right? So we have different outlets of actually reducing sell pressure and or increasing price or increasing liquidity based on what the protocol needs. All of our collections will be capped, so there will be a maximum amount as to hopefully not allow those rewards and the amount of payouts having to be done to overinflate so that the sell pressure doesn't get out of hand. That's a really fine balancing act, but that's the target. We do have a little bit more levers that we can pull versus the standard nodes as a service protocol like Strum.
I think what we have seen is like Tor nodes and power nodes, they have reduced their yield over time, you know, because I think they couldn't sustain that reward, right? Because rewards have to come from somewhere. And I think that's why they have. But yours is an NFT. Will I be able to, let's say, you know, I mean, are we able to sell those NFT on the marketplace to somebody else?
Yeah. So that is, you're exactly right. That is one of the benefits of NFTs is they're going to be transferable. So our NFTs will be transferable. However, we will not be able to list them originally on a marketplace. The marketplaces will be blacklisted. That's just what we'll likely do is once the collections sell out, then we'll open up a secondary market. The problem with having a secondary market is if people are selling them under the price that they could buy them in the protocol, well, you're not going to sustaining and building an external treasury that's actually propping up the price. However, that is a good way to limit the total amount of NFTs in circulation. And being as we're an NFT staking protocol, if it's listed on a marketplace, they're not staking it. So that is an effective way in the long term. We could reduce some sell pressure as well, but lots of different options there.
Because a lot of them have been taking these NFTs and selling it for like cheaply, you know, and that I think affects the price of the underlying token as well. So I think that's
it does,
right.
And we can only even some of the other marketplaces, most of them really allow you to take a maximum secondary fee of like 7.5%, or I think the maximum I've seen is 15%. So whereas in a typical protocol on like our X-rays side of things, we're going to be able to sell a larger portion than that to keep the price sustainable and level. So it just doesn't really help support the protocol as much. Plus, those are purchased in FTM and they're not purchased in our own main token. So, so that obviously decreases the need and the utility behind our token if people can just buy it on the secondary market. So it's going to be initially something we restrict. There's nothing to say that people couldn't do over-the-counter deals.
I wanted to ask you, why do you choose FTM as your chain of choice? And are you going?
Fantom is the DeFi kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, Fantom is the DeFi kingdom. I think it's relatively undiscovered from that sense. But if you look at Fantom versus like an AVAX, and I don't know that this is still true, but a month ago, I think there was more total value locked on Fantom. There was more transactions. There's more unique wallets, and there was less scam projects, quite honestly. Now, I think you're starting to see some of that in all chains, but I think you find a lot more tenured investors. You find a really humble community that's willing to work well with people. We have some major kind of Genesis Pools partners on this, and that will be accessible during our farm, and we can talk about that in a second. But we have Reaper Farm, who they have a huge amount of total value locked. We have Excalibur that's going to be joining up with us. They're another big farm. Yoshi is a DEX. We've got Beethoven that we're working with. All of these are very, very well-established Fantom players. And then we've got some other smaller protocols like Diversify. So it's going to give a lot of exposure opportunities for people. It's going to give a lot of exposure exposure opportunities to some of our partner protocols. At the same time, those partner protocols should drive some exposure to us as well. So that's why we love Fantom.
Yes, true. It's huge, especially, I mean, they got a lot of good multi-chain yield optimizers. A lot of people use that, to optimize their yield. So I think a lot of projects are also hopping onto them, which is great. Let's talk about your initial stake offering. And I think your Genesis pools already it's still ongoing, or Has it?
So the way when our initial staking offering will
Yeah.
start, that will start with Genesis pools. That we launch on Friday. It'll be the 22nd.
22nd.
So there is no private sale, there is no pre-sale. One of the benefits in doing an ISO is that we didn't have to do one of those. So we didn't have that. We had everybody is going to have an easy, fair access to be able to earn raise tokens, and they're going to be completely 100% emitted through our contracts. So you have to farm to get the emissions. But what that allows is everybody to have a level playing field. You can go and you can support one of our partners through our Genesis pools, and you can, I won't say you can earn tokens for free because it's not free and there's not any risk, but it's a lot lower risk and it gives people some exposure through the Genesis. So
Right.
Genesis pools period, will last only a couple hours, if that, and then that's where the actual yield farming emissions will come into play. So the yields on those partner pools, they'll still be there, but they'll be significantly lowered because most of the emissions will shift to raise LP. So you provide raise LP and you stake it, you're going to earn very, very high yields on that. I can't say exactly what the APR is because it's going to depend on how many people are actually staking in that pool.
Right.
But that's also very good marketing for us because yields speak for themselves. So that initial staking offering period should, I expect it to have some volatility, but it's a really natural way of the market dictating what our price should be. And you don't have this this huge buy and sell pressure along the way, or the huge pump and dump that you're seeing in some protocols that are killing protocols before they even have a chance to demonstrate their value, which we really wanted to avoid. And I don't mean this to be disrespectful to anybody or any investor, and I understand there's different strategies out there, but this is not something that you can just completely pump and dump, right? Like it's not going to work that way. And not all, and the pump and dumpers, they may not completely understand how initial staking offering works, but the people that really understand DeFi and understand the value of passive yields, those are the people we're really trying to attract with this protocol. We don't want to discourage the other people away from it, and we're going to make it easy for them to get, have a part of it as well. But we don't want those people as the main parts of our protocol dictating, the or failure in the first 5 minutes of the protocol launch.
Correct. I've seen projects just collapse, after 5 months of working on it. So much of marketing spent on marketing just collapse, and people just selling off even for 5-10% profit. Yeah, so I know it's really hard, it's heartbreaking. How many people do you have on your team?
Yeah, we have 7. Well, we have like 5 main, and then we do additional. So all 5 of our team members are actually KYC'd as well. We'll have 5 members on our multisig, and we'll require 3 signatures as well.
Okay. So so you're using a multisig. Did you KYC with anyone like House of Obsidian or something like that?
We did a Sure DeFi.
Sure.
You can see our NFT is actually on our Twitter right now. So all 5 of our members did it. We passed the flying colors.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so I think that's all I have. That's all questions I have. Would you like to wrap up the last? I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, so it depends on what you're after. If you're just an NFT fan, our NFTs are awesome. They're 3D animated. Our NFT artist is really incredible. He put a lot of time and energy into it. And I know a lot of people don't really care about these, the NFTs and these protocols. They just care about the yields. But we really wanted to have a very cool asset, with high utility that people could really engage and enjoy. So we're a team that likes to try to take the extra steps to make these protocols just really, really palatable. And we've really thought this out. And we've got a lot of speculation with, how it can go, and we'll see how the market takes it. We expect to have some good success, and fingers crossed. We've got a good team. We had several different of our partner projects review our code, and they gave us some optimizations and things of that sort. But I think it goes without saying that they approved of how things look, being as they're now our Genesis partners. So we're very thankful to have them on and kind of look through things. But if anybody's worried about, you know, the safety of the contract and things of that sort, that's another point I felt like probably necessary to mention. But we do have a whitelist competition going on now. So it's not for a pre-sale or a private sale, but what that's going to get you access to is getting a discounted NFT when the Nebula, the first in the Solar Collection, comes out. You're going to get early access to that, and you're going to be able to get that at a discounted rate. So it's a huge perk for doing it. You'll still have to participate somewhat in the protocol and the ISO, or you're going to have to purchase tokens to do it, but it will come at a discounted rate. So it effectively, you know, makes your yield's a little bit higher because you paid less for it. So, all you got to do to get that right now is we're doing an invite competition, and so we've got 5 invites gets you that whitelist still. And we'll do that until our spots are full. We've already got a large amount, and we've been growing like crazy. So, and we'll have some other big DeFi conversations coming up soon.
Great. Right. So yeah, so I wish you all the best. I wish you, your team and yourself all the best in this project. And I hope to have you guys again, you know, on this channel in a couple of months when you are, you know, huge TVL, 20 million, 30 million TVL.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then people are forking us. That's our goal, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
show them that this is the better protocol.
Correct.
Yeah, I hope to do it. Well, thanks so much for having us, man. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck.
if you don't mind, just share all our links and stuff when you post the video.
I will surely do that.
If any of your community has questions, always happy to answer questions. Our admins are great. You know, we're always approachable people. So look forward to meeting some of you guys soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right.
See you later.
Appreciate it. See you. Take care.